See, short and sweet.
I know. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, everybody. Brooke was already here before we were. I saw her comment and I'm like, she is ready. Wonder if she has muffins this time. She had muffins and tea last time.
Oh, see, you've got a good memory.
Melanie and says we are part of her favorite part of the week. Thank you. Let's see, Rebecca. There she is. She did half the work for me, so thank you.
Job as usual.
Let's see. So one of our past friends here, Chrissy, says, "Hi, ladies. Miss seeing your faces. Marianne called you yesterday. Hope it went through." Says, same old stuff going on.
Well, I knew I got work, and I figured it had to be you, but totally garbled. Didn't. So it's still happening. I hope you're still smudging on a regular basis, and I hope you're keeping the charms on the kids. I don't know what else to tell you. The weather's getting better. There's other things going on right now, so I can't make any plans to go out of state. But you know, that could be an option at some point here, Chrissy.
Let's see. Hello, Lisa. I just got to visit with Lisa a little bit yesterday, and she was watching me unwrap a bunch of stones and fighting with all the shrink wrap. Hello, Swifty and Lena. Amy. Thanks for joining us at Amy every Wednesday. Our friend Sandy. Heather. Oh, yep. Brooke has her muffins and matcha tea. Natalie and Poodle Pants. That is a fun name.
Fun person.
Let's see. Melanie says, "Hi, Marianne. A few years ago, you cleared our home and my husband's firehouse. Our grandmother passed a couple of days ago. Funeral is next weekend. Do you still attend funerals if you're available?"
Leave a message, Melanie. Which weekend are you talking about? This weekend with Father's Day? If that's the case, I'll be able to do a phone call with you from the funeral, but I will not be able to attend. Where do you even live?
I was going to say it got to be somewhat close, I think. Let's see. Sorry, turning off my notifications on my laptop so we don't get all those annoying little beeps. Beth. Hello, Beth. And Jean. Amy. Also, Wednesday morning's one of her favorites. Thank you. And everybody's wondering, how is Ted doing?
Ted is it's really ugly looking, but he said it doesn't hurt as bad as it did. Right now, he's got a scar from here to here, and then from here all the way over here. The neck is what is hurting him because that's where they took out the lymph nodes. So right now we're in a holding pattern. We wait 7 to 10 days to see what the pathology says. So, and that was 7 to 10 days from last week, Thursday. So it'll be a week tomorrow. So hopefully they'll call tomorrow. So we'll know.
That would be awesome.
I know.
And Judy. Hello, Judy. Let's see. Everybody's saying hello and they're jumping on me. Oh, hey, Nashville. Hello. Thank you for joining us from Nashville. You know, actually close to Nashville in the Hopkins Cemetery is where Edgar Casey's buried. The Sleeping Prophet. Are you familiar with Edgar Casey?
Yeah, I actually am very familiar with him. A little side thing. Mm-hmm. Years ago, Ted and I decided that we wanted to learn astrology. So we took classes at a night course at the local high school from an astrologer. And she was going to, There was only like 10 of us in the class. Ted was the only guy, of course. He loves it. And so she said, everybody just don't put your name by it, but I'll get your birth charts for you. Just give me the time and the date that you were born and where. So the following week for the class, we go in and she's got all 10 of these uh, astrology papers. And so she picks up the first one and she's looking at the date and everything. And she said, she's looking through the class, and she was a very good astrologer. She says, well, because you're a Gemini, I bet it's you. And she got them all right. Every one of those, just from the date, she could figure out who in the class it was. Then she got to mine. And she said, oh, this March 10th is sort of fascinating to me. She said, you're the only one left. And she stared at me and she said, did you think that I would not recognize Edgar Casey's natal chart?
Oh, hey. Interesting, interesting.
Only one planet, two things were off a little bit. One, I was born on a dark moon, or a Balsic moon, which is not a new moon, and one of the planets was a little out of whack. So I started, and I had no idea at that point who Edgar Casey was. So I really
had to go look him up.
Oh, you betcha. All of his books. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Laura, one of our local ladies. And I saw where Sink Farm said Friday Zoom was amazing. She enjoyed it. And said, thank you so much for quick delivery on the Quincy's. Ordered Friday night and got them Monday.
Post office is finally working again.
Okay, so first question about earthbounds this morning. Natalie asks, you said earthbounds don't go through walls, but can they go through closed windows?
Yes, of course. They can go through anything. They are not solid. But people have a tendency to do the same things that they did when they were alive. And people don't walk through walls when they're alive, but they do use doors. The doors do not have to be open, but they still use a doorway. And there's always exceptions to the rule. That's why when parents call or students call from college and they're in dorms, I always ask them what floor they're on, because if they're on the first, second, or the third floor, live college students use those windows to come in and out of their dorms. So those windows in that kind of a situation would need the seeds on it. But as a rule, no, not at all.
I think we're all a little more spry in our younger college years than we are when we're older. I'm going to go through the door. I'm not crawling through a window.
Yeah, well, kids are kids. They're going to do it.
All right. So for anybody else who is their first time watching with us, and hello, Mary Ann is answering questions live about earthbound spirits, negative energy, portals, depending on the question, maybe about fairies. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. What else do you?
Negative energy.
Yes. So, feel free to type in questions. We are answering questions from all over the platforms. We're trying to keep up. So let's see if we have any more questions scrolling in here. So here's one that sometimes can be controversial or argumentative, depending. When it comes to the orbs, what all can orbs be? Sometimes they are, people visiting who have crossed from the other side, but.
Correct. I have never found an orb that was an earthbound spirit. All orbs that I have ever seen or saw pictures of were definitely spirits that have crossed over or your guardian angel. And digital cameras catch more orbs than film cameras. And again, they can, but more of them are caught on digital. And the trick to an orb is if you see a design in the middle of the orb, enlarge it. And you can usually see a side profile or a face of who it is. If the orb is blank, It's nothing but a dust particle. That's why baptisms and first communions and weddings, parties, holidays, that's why there's so many orbs in those pictures, because it's relatives visiting that want to see what's going on. They're still nosy. So they just show up for all this stuff so they can see, don't miss the grandkids, great grandkids, great 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 grandkids. So they're for all of that.
Oh, right. Well, and I'm sorry, Mirror, I think. I don't want to slaughter your name. But our friend from Nashville says he took a picture on Easter outside, and there's a very large light anomaly, there we go, that's the word, over us. The sun was in front. Could it be his brother?
It could, but I have no way of knowing it on this format. If you really want to know if your brother is around you, earthbound, visiting, whatever, get on Zoom. People are really getting some good information. This last Zoom that we had, I was so surprised because people had been on before. I had told them what to do. We checked at this Zoom, and the houses that they did what I asked them to do were clear. So we can work it this way. But I would have no way of knowing. A bright white light, yeah, that is something that it could be your brother visiting from the other side. But again, I wouldn't know on this format.
Yeah, he mentioned he's going to go look up Edgar Casey, and Lisa says she learned about Edgar Casey from Mary from Ambergram way back in the day.
Yeah, exactly right. And Mary is actually the one that hooked me up with the Edgar Casey Foundation in, where is it, Virginia or somewhere on the East Coast? Virginia Beach. Thanks, hon. They hooked me up, and it was Hugh Casey, who I believe is Edgar's son, that I had talked to. And then, if anybody remembers Ruth Montgomery, she wrote a lot of books. A lot of her books were on aliens, but she wrote a lot of books too. And apparently she had given the center my name also for some reason. I don't know why. And I never know why half the time what people do. And so I did talk to them, but yeah, it's an interesting place down there. What they wanted me to do was come down there for about 3 months and go through tests. No, I wasn't going to do that.
Nobody's got time for that.
I didn't know.
All right. Well, here is a question from Beth. She's actually somewhat local to us because you're still in the area and you're starting to go out and do houses again. Yeah. But you don't just pop in to see if they're spirits.
No. You need to call Beth and leave a message. And, this is terrible. Every time I get on a roll and I start getting my calls, I think I'm starting to catch up on them. Then something happens and throws us in a tailspin and everything goes back on hold. So, but yes, I'm very close to you, a city over, as a matter of fact. So, but absolutely leave a message and I'll be able to tell from that if there's anything going on in your house, and I will call you. I will actually call you either way eventually, but I will call you and I will tell you, and then you can decide what you want to do.
Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. It says, I heard my back door open one night. It's a very distinctive sound, but when I got up to check it, it was still closed. Could it be a ghost? And I've always wondered how they can make a ruckus and nothing is out of place. That's
their energy. Believe me, they certainly can. I mean, they can make a noise downstairs in your basement or wherever your furnace is where it sounds like somebody took a hammer and beat on it. And that noise will go through the whole house and there's nothing out of place. Hangers, closet doors. That is definitely what they could do. And we are still in a Mercury retrograde. We'll be out of it on the 23rd of June. Plus, all the eclipses are over. but they've had a lot of energy since the full moon in April. So everything is finally starting to calm down a little bit.
Let's see. Um, do. Unfortunately, Marianne is not able to clear house over Zoom. What's an alternative though if they can't smudge? Like, let's say they're asthmatic or fire
Okay.
sprinklers everywhere.
Okay. One of the things that you can do is if you are affiliated with any kind of organized religion, it never hurts to have an ordained priest or minister come in and clear the house. That's an option. Admittedly, it doesn't last long. You'll see a difference for about 3, hopefully 4 weeks, but it doesn't last. There is, which Melissa can verify, there is a spray smudge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not so much.
Doesn't work as well. I mean,
No, it's something, but it
kind of
doesn't
better
work
than
very
nothing.
well. Right. The best thing that I would suggest is have a very close friend or relative leave the house, have them smudge it for you, wait 2 hours, open the windows up and air the place out, and have somebody do it for you. That is the best way to do it. But if you come on Zoom, you may not even have anything in the house. You may not have to do anything. So those, don't always go to the worst place.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not as bad as you think.
So Stephanie, who's I believe the first time joining with us too, says something has been pushing on my bed at night and keeping me up, mostly full moon and new moon. I've been smudging, but it doesn't work entirely. What is this, and what else can I do?
Okay. Have you been smudging correctly? That's the biggest problem with smudging. Everybody goes, oh, yeah, I smudged and I threw it around. No. Every room has to be done. Every closet has to be opened. Every crawl space has to get smoke on it. Your attached garage has to have it be done there. Keep this in mind wherever, if you've got an earthbound spirit, when you smudge, the one place you do not get the smoke is where they're going to be hiding. Plus, once is never enough. You've got to smudge at least every 12 to 14 days to keep them quiet and get disgusted where they finally leave. So I don't know if you're doing it right. And yes, pet absolutely do stick around too. So that could be a pet up on your bed. Absolutely.
There we go. I'm going to try and get all of the fairy questions together because now everybody's like, I want a fairy day. And then there's also the request for the alien day. So we're going to have to do.
We're going to have to do those. I know.
Will a quincy charm protect you from an earthbound spirit draining your energy or just keep them a few feet away? And I would like to say both.
Both. Exactly right. It will definitely help your energy. I like to put it this way. If somebody in your house smokes a cigarette and you don't, you're still getting secondhand smoke. And so there is still a ghost in your house. It can't get close to you. Their energy is still through the whole house, but the quincy does give you some protection. And somebody called and wanted to know if having a quincy makes spirits angry or that they act up more.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen them act up more. I know that some of them get angry because they can't get close to you. But if they can't get close to you, they can't do anything. So it's a win-win.
It's kind of like sending the spirit to their room. Go be mad over there.
That's right. Stand in the corner.
Right. Let's see. So, because you mentioned your natal chart, I'm sure you're going to say no. But would you be willing to give out your birth time and location so people can look up your chart?
No, let's leave some things private. I'm a Pisces with Leo rising. I was born in March, obviously, if I'm a Pisces, or the end of February. But just let it go with that for now.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Gina says, I got my dad a DNA test. Now I'm wondering if it would be better for me to help him with it this week or wait until Mercury retrograde ends.
You know what? Why don't you do it after it ends? It's almost over. You know, you want your DNA test to be very accurate. So I would say wait until after. It's almost done.
I was going to say spitting in the cup may not be the problem. It could be getting lost in the mail or the processing.
More on their end, the processing, correct.
And Sarah says, I feel like my grandma might be earthbound. I've been working on my dreams, but she has yet to come to me, and it's been years since she has passed. But she still feels her around.
Well, do this. Ask your siblings or your other relatives if anybody has had a dream of grandma. As long as somebody has had a dream of her, then she is where she's supposed to be. Are you remembering your dreams? Everybody dreams, but if you don't remember them, then it doesn't do you any good. So get an herb called mugwort, Mugwort, and put it in a little pouch like this. Put it between your pillowcase and your pillow, and in about 3 weeks, you'll start remembering your dreams really, really well. Think about this. On days that you're really thinking about your grandmother, is it your birthday? Is it a holiday? Is it a time when, is it her birthday? Is this the day she died? Sometimes they visit on those days aside from special occasions. So think about that too. If it's the time you're really thinking about her, she may be visiting, and that's why she just pops in your mind.
Mm. All those fun holidays, special events, graduations were around for a lot of people and stuff.
They have been all over. Seriously. I had to do a couple suicides of kids last week, and the one picture, I am not kidding you, must have had 50 orbs in it, and everyone had a design in the middle. This was a really special kid. And everybody was waiting for him. So there was not going to be any issue with him crossing over. So that worked out really well well, not that he was dead, but that he was going to go to the light.
So sad.
It is.
One of our friends from the last Zoom says that they had a cowboy that showed up with the horse. Would spritzing with the salt water, would that help get rid of that cowboy?
Yeah, it would make him uncomfortable enough where he probably wouldn't come around as often. And I don't know if you can do that. Would you turn off the stove? Excuse me?
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, I have company coming for dinner tonight, so I was cooking some stuff. Oh. So, can you put, which I have no idea, can you make a solution up with water and sea salt and wipe the horse down with that to keep the ghost away from the horse too? I don't know if you could do that or not.
Do you still have the zipper pulls? Because maybe they could have put one of the zipper pulls somehow on the harness or the bridle.
Well, yeah, that's funny. You'd be surprised how many I'm godmother to a whole bunch of racehorses. I don't know how that works, but they win, so that's a good thing. But a lot of the racehorses do have one of the charms hooked onto their bridles, so when they're racing, nothing can get close to them. So yeah, that's a good idea too.
And see another request for Alien Day.
Yeah, one of these days we will have to do that.
Okay. Oh, so Tammy has a question, and I did see another one up here. I haven't been able to find it, but earthbound affect your car? So Tammy says, if you're someone that drives a lot, is there something that I should have with me for protection from accidents or just mechanical issues in general? And then somebody else had asked, like, can they make the car like stop and lurch and shake?
If you've got an earthbound spirit that rides with you a lot, they can affect anything electronic in the car. Now, I'm talking about obviously newer vehicles, um, but radios, batteries, starters, windows won't go up and down. The digger won't shut off when you put the seatbelt on. Uh, Absolutely. Can they cause an accident? They can't grab the wheel and turn it. They cannot touch the brake or the gas. However, if they're sitting in the front seat next to you while you're driving, they could distract you where you don't see the car in front of you stopped. And so back end them. Or so they could do things like that, but they can't steer the car into an accident. That's why when houses get cleared, when I do them, beside the seeds going over all the doors, I always give them a seed to put in an envelope to put in the glove compartment of their vehicle so that nobody can ride with them. But if you're wearing a seed, that would protect you also. But keep this in mind. And see, everything, even doing this, is a learning experience for me. I gave everybody these seeds for their glove compartments right from the very beginning. But then I was still having ghosts riding in vehicles. Well, seeds only good for 3.5, 4 feet. A van,
Trucks,
these
Durangos.
crossovers, Durangos, obviously they're longer than 4 feet. So in that situation, I would say you would have to have a seat in the back of the vehicle too. But keep this in mind. I do a lot of hospitals, and doctors and nurses and employees of hospitals, and they all have a seed, and everybody wears one. They're in their cars, and one kept banging on the door outside because the seed's on, and when they can't get in, they stand out there and kick the door like they're 2 years old. Doesn't last long, but they'll do it once or twice, and I couldn't understand why. So I went out to her house. This was a few years ago. I went out to her house. That ghost was so determined to come home with her, it rode on the roof of her car so that he knew where she lived. Talk about persistent. So, yeah. He had issues, no doubt about it. So, he wouldn't have been nice alive, let alone dead.
Right. I think living humanity is probably better off with him on our side of it. So there's questions coming up. So the phone number right here is where you would call to give Marianne a call from the location that your questions are about. You can't call from work and ask about your house. Same thing applies to Zoom.
And I've been getting a lot of questions from people that are calling me from work, wanting to know if there's a problem at work. Unless you own the business, I'm not going to be calling you back. What good is it going to do unless your boss or the owner says it's okay to call and get the information? It's like when somebody calls me to come to a funeral, it has to be obviously one of the family members. And it's the neighbor across the street. My neighbor across the street died today, and I'd sure like to know what's going on in her house. Can you come? No, you're a nosy neighbor. I'm not coming. So the same thing with work. If you own the company, if you have the right to tell me I can come in, fine. So those people I don't call back, only because it wouldn't do any good.
Right. And so now there's questions coming up about the Zooms. This is the link to join us. It works every time. And when you go there, it'll give you the option of which dates you want to join. Right now, July 9th is the next one. It's about half full, so there's about 15 spaces left to join in. And we do limit it to 30. So there's only the 30 people that, join and sign up. Me and Marianne, though I'm really only there calling names. So you don't really hear or see a whole lot of me. Marianne's doing all the heavy lifting those nights. Let's see. So Elizabeth says, looking forward to the Zoom night on the 21st. I was wondering, can you always see if there's an earthbound spirit during the Zoom? What if we are using our computer in the living room, but it's hiding in the bedroom?
Makes no difference. As long as it's under the roof, I will find it. And if the energy is really strong, I'll even pick it up if it's in a outbuilding. So, no, it doesn't make any difference. And even if your spirit isn't there, if you've got one and it's not there the day I call, I will still be able to pick up on their energy and tell you if it's a man or a woman and approximately how old it is. So it doesn't make any difference. Surprisingly, I think they're pretty accurate. I actually see things that people forget they have in their house. And, which Melissa can attest to. It's like I'm looking at a window or a mirror that's over a bed and I can see outside. No, I don't have anything like that. Okay, but that's what I'm seeing. So I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. And then to come back on in a few minutes and go, found the mirror, forgot I put it there. So yeah, you can tell.
Lisa says she works as a security guard at a large hospital system. Says there's sure enough spirits wandering around.
Yep. If it's a city hospital, especially, not so much like the Cleveland Clinic, main campus of UH. It's more, and it's especially the emergency rooms in city hospitals. The ones that are not city hospitals, they have a tendency, if an ambulance pulls up with a gunshot wound, they'll look and go, take them to city. They pick and choose who they want to come into their emergency rooms. So the ones that are a little rougher usually end up in city hospitals. And believe me, I've done floors, wings of so many hospitals, plus the life flight helicopters. Most of them all have seeds in them too.
Which is probably a good thing. Be a lot.
Why would you be mad or angry at the person that's trying to save your life? People are weird. That's all.
My grandma, when she first passed and they brought her back, she was pissed. Why? She did have a DNR, which, found out about later. But man, was she mad. And I'm like, well, you know what? She never remarried. My grandfather died long ago, like when my dad was in his teens, and that was her guy. And my uncle had drowned right around that time. So she had two very close loved ones. And I'm like, I'm sure we just kind of yanked her right back on this. She was pissed.
Luckily, a lot of the hospitals now want that information when they do the pre-testing. They want to know if you've got that so they can have it right away. But when my mother-in-law died, she had all of this stuff, DNR, none of that. And I got to tell you, that nurse that came in, she actually tried talking her out of it, which really made me angry. It's like she wants to go see her husband. She's tired. She's had enough. She's ill. Let her go. And she didn't waver, though. She knew exactly what she wanted. Good. And yeah, but I that didn't make me very happy.
That would have been questionable. Like, that needs to go on a performance evaluation. Like, really? So we got a few more questions. We're going to go to Jamie and Laura and our friend Mary are in Nashville. So Jamie says, is it okay to talk to spirits? For example, when they get noisy or bug my dog, I tell whoever's around to knock it off. But I heard that isn't a good thing to do.
Talking to an earthbound spirit just gives them more energy. You are totally better off ignoring them. If they can't get a rise out of you, they're not getting any energy. So screaming at him doesn't do any good. A lady had called me up. She said, "Do I have anything in my house?" I said, "Yeah, you have this cute little man sitting in a recliner in the living room." I said, "It looks like he's pretty generic." And and then I just love it. She goes, "Well, which recliner?" And it's like, "Well, it's the one with the blue Afghan on it." Okay, because the other recliner had a red Afghan on it. Okay. Love it. Why are you calling me then? So, so I said, "Well, you know what?" I says, "He's so generic." I says, "Why don't you just smudge or have the priest come in and bless the house? I think it'll make a difference." No, 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 no. I want you to come. It'll be 3 weeks. I don't care. So I go out there, walk up the 3 steps into the kitchen. This little timid little man, ghost, 80 years old, was so nothing on the phone call. He's bouncing off the walls and he's running around the dining room table. I said, "What in the world did you do?" She goes, "Ha, every day, 2, 3 times a day, I'd say, 'Boy, you just wait. Marianne's coming.'" Like, thank you so much. Don't give him the energy. Don't talk to him.
It's like giving the grandkids sugar and then sending them home.
Yeah, sending him off. Yeah, yeah. We'll give you all the ice cream you want, and then Grandma and Grandpa go take care of you. Right.
Right. So does smudging affect positive spirits in the house?
Doesn't hurt them at all. They like it. It has nothing to do with ones that have crossed over and are visiting. Has nothing to do with your spirit guides, your guardian angel. Has nothing to do about any of those at all.
And quin seeds protect against negative energy attaching to you, because I saw that question popped up there again.
Because, yeah, if you've got negative energy on you, i.e., a curse, whatever, if you wear a charm, it will not get any worse. It doesn't remove it, but it doesn't get any worse. And once if you've got something on you and it's been cleared and you wear a seed, none can ever be put back on you. So it's good.
So Laura says, I've been hearing noises at night when I'm in bed that are exactly the house noises of my childhood home. Could that be my dad letting me know that he's here? I ended up having dreams of him telling me to go to the old house to get things he wants me to have whenever this happens.
I don't know. I obviously it's not scaring you and you're seeing him in dreams, so that tells me he's crossed over. Do you do you even have access to the old house? I mean, is there something important, paperwork or something that he thinks you need, or money hidden, or jewelry or diamonds hidden someplace? Is that why he wants you to go? The next time you have a dream about him, I'd say, "What is it you want me to find, Dad?" Let him tell you exactly what it is. And but it's all for nothing if you can't get into the house.
Right. Kathy says, so good to see you. Left a message several months ago about the same time we did a Zoom call with you. Can't wait to hear from you. Would it be helpful if I provided transportation for both you and Ted? We live in Stowe.
No, actually, we can drive that far. Not an issue. It's just I know there's a couple. You are one of them, but I know there's a few people that have been on Zoom that still want me to come out. And like I said, I was on a roll there for a while, and then this happened with Ted. So I got priority. Things have to go in order. So as soon as I can get back out there doing it again, I will.
All right. So a couple questions on the Zooms. And the biggest thing that I'm seeing, they start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we love it when people from all over the world join us. Just please make sure of the time change, because we can't stay on all day, all night to adjust. I'm old and tired.
I'm way older than tired. So.
Um, no energy drink will get me through long nights like that. But yes, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time is when they start. We do them at least twice a month. Sometimes we add an extra if they keep filling up, and we've got time depending on both our schedules. Let's see. Oh, there was another vote. Where to go? Another vote for aliens and fairies. Um, so we're really gonna have to put that out there, Marianne.
I know, I know. Let's try to do it obviously after the Mercury retrograde because we want to make sure everybody hears right. But I guess we're going to have to get together when this is over and just bite the bullet and pick a date. Or pick which Wednesday it's going to be.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Karen says we had to put our 9-year-old Doberman down 2 weeks ago due to cancer. I'm sorry. I wonder if that's your puppy there in the picture. I swear I saw her shadow yesterday at 4 a.m. walking down the hall. Do you think that's a possibility?
After she's 9 years old, of course she's not going to. And if she has crossed over, she'll be back to visit. So yeah, no, I'm sure that was her. And she hasn't been dead that long. So no, that I'm sure that was her.
And let's see. Sarah wants to know what your favorite fairy fact is.
Leprechauns aren't as nice as you think they are. That's it.
And actually, if anybody, if you're having a problem with fairies, the first live Marianne and I did in February of 2021 is where we went over some of the fairies in like the recipe of putting some plans together and how to get them out of the house. They're not all cute and fun like Tinkerbell. Some are very mischievous and troublesome. But not only is the recipe for what to do and how to do it spoken, but actually typed it out. So it's also in the comments for you too. So, but it was the first live of February of 2021. So just a few months ago. Because I remember that because I was down in Orlando in that.
Well, I was going to say, why is your memory that good? Okay.
In Orlando in that Airbnb that had the creepy ghost, but I thought my true crime mind went to hidden cameras and perverts, and it was a dead person feeling like I was being watched.
Watch Criminal Minds a lot?
Yes, because I'm sorry, Shamar Moore just needs to do that whole series shirtless, but you know that was not to be, unfortunately. Oh, well, that's good. That is her puppy in the pic. Oh, did not know leprechauns were considered fairies, so they're kind of in that energetic.
They're in with trolls and ogres and worries, and it's the whole ball of wax. You can't pick and choose. It's the whole group of them. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, you wouldn't really want to see a troll sitting on your couch. Maybe you would want to see a leprechaun sitting on your couch, but you certainly wouldn't want to see a troll. So this is why it takes a while to go through all of it.
You know what I found interesting years ago when I started really kind of catching up on some of the fairies. What age group is it for Girl Scouts and the Brownies? Isn't it like around 2nd, 3rd grade?
The Brownies start in 1st grade, and then you go up to Girl Scouts in 3rd grade, and then little increments up to that till 18.
Because I remember thinking the height-wise of girls in the Brownies is the height-ish of the fairies that are known as brownies, the house brownies. And I'm not promoting to go out there and start doing this because research first and before you do it. But if treated and relationshiped well, they can be helpful around the house. And I'm like, how funny that about the time you're teaching young ladies and young men too, but how to do chores, how to be responsible, how to upkeep the house. They're brownies.
Right. Well, and it fits. I mean, see, I don't believe in coincidences. I think things really happen for a reason.
Oh, see, Amy agrees with me on Shamar. uh, a rather large fan base for that man, I'm sure. Let's see. Melanie says we live in Brunswick. You came over on February 2nd, 2018. Then you went to Engine 24 in Cleveland. Wake Funerals in Parma. Do I call the same number to leave a message?
Yeah, it hasn't changed. Same phone number.
Your phone number hasn't changed to the point that you still have the same princess phone that
I
you answer.
do. I do. I still have the same push button phone. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. We all need a house brownie to help do the housework.
That or I need a mother.
Because teenage boys are hard to get to do help around the house. Okay, so Mora says, if I have a fairy garden in my yard and have several bird feeders, am I inviting a problem?
My opinion, yes. Leave it outside. I mean, now the weather is nice, but people that have brought your little fairy gardens inside to protect them from the winter, you are asking for trouble. So do not do that.
And see, there was another question about, here we go. So Beth says, so the whole fairy garden movement, is it dangerous in any way? Can you actually draw fairies to you? And that's similar to what you were just saying.
Yeah. You put a fairy garden up, and if they really like it, that's one thing. I mean, you've got your flower sprites out there, your tree sprites out there. I mean, there's all kinds of outdoor stuff. They belong outdoor. It's like, you're going to go find a raccoon outside and bring it in the house and expect it to behave. No, and not our little fairies either. They're not going to behave either.
Right. Oh, so good question. Are trolls, leprechauns, fairies, are they of this dimension as in physical or spiritual?
They're in another dimension and they pop in and out. They are not dead. They are alive, and there's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like try to catch a leprechaun and they're out of the dimension. So
speaking of the leprechaun, I haven't heard this. If you take a leprechaun hat and hide it, he will give you everything you want, but you can't get the hat back. I'm sure there's some truth, but I never would have thought.
I don't know. And it was Mary from Ambergram, actually. She was really big into the leprechauns, and she always had a shot glass sitting on her counter, half full with Irish whiskey on St. Patty's Day. And she had it sitting in, there was a box lid, so that with a string on it that was holding this lid up. And if she would see the whiskey go down in the shot glass, she would pull the string and try to catch the leprechaun.
Huh. Did she ever?
She was so shocked that she wanted to talk to him, and she opened the box and it got out.
How funny.
You should have drank the whiskey before you opened the box.
I'm sure it would take a lot more than half a shot glass. I'm sure they've got a tolerance.
Yeah, but they're not that big. Well, some of them are big, but they're really not quite that big. So, but oh my gosh, people do all kinds of crazy things like that.
Let's see. So, Raven asks, are puckwidgies the same as brownies? I don't know. I'm not as up, especially because there was also a question about the Celtic folklore on fairies and a recommendation for good books or resources.
Not enough information. You're right. Different cultures call the same thing different names. So you don't know if you saw a picture of it. 6 people from 6 different countries would probably call it a different name. So
Mm.
it could be the same. I don't know.
Right.
My area of expertise is earthbound spirits and negative energy. So I know this stuff because over the years you just learn.
Hmm.
But, and I'm sure there are people out there that are experts in this stuff, that have all kinds of information. But, all I can do is, pick and choose what I know.
Right. Well, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know until you run into it and you're forced to go
Right.
learn. My friend Nikki, like the other night, actually, it was probably a couple of weeks ago, she's like, make sure you sleep with your window closed. And I'm like, why? And she goes, oh, I saw, and like it was some Celtic thing. She's like, going down the road. And I'm like, what? Here? Nah. So she can see certain things but I'm also like, I ain't got time.
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm not going any further. Right.
Yeah. Let's see. So there was the question about if animals are affected by earthbound spirits in the way humans are. Does it make them sick, sluggish, give them problems?
If you have pets that are on any kind of medications, it does definitely have an effect on them. If you have large dogs, there's enough energy there for them to use that also. And that's why a lot of people, which I am a firm believer in crating your animals when you're not home. Believe me, I that's the safest place for them when you are not home. But if you've got an earthbound spirit in the house that doesn't like your dog, they're going to go over and rattle the cage and kick at it and make the dog totally paranoid. So, yeah, they can definitely affect animals. Will your dog not go down the basement if it's not with you? Will it stand at the bottom of the steps and look up and just go, just growl real low at the top with his hair standing up on his back and won't come up? Do you have to carry the dog to come upstairs with you?
Mm-hmm.
Watch your animals. Not all of them, a golden retriever is going to try to be friends with everybody. On the other hand, a Rottweiler might not like anybody. But pay attention to your animals. They're really good at seeing both ones that crossed over and ones that didn't. If a dog is looking eye level and it's growling or backing up, or how they put their head down and just stare like that, that's probably an earthbound spirit. If they're looking at the ceiling, that is probably somebody that crossed over.
Mm. And cats just do whatever the hell they want. Don't trust the cat.
Right, right. They're tracing something across the ceiling too, and you look to see where the spider is. But the cats are really good at seeing ones that crossed over. Earthbound ones, they'll just get out of their way because they don't care. Where the dog will keep an eye on it. But the
It's
cats,
That's the thing, especially in the witchy community, about how cats are such protectors. And let me tell you, where did he go? He was just sitting by me. Um, Chunky, lovable black cat. He is the biggest baby. He protected nothing. I kind of thought he was hiding behind me no, he was hiding behind me to hide.
the hide. That's exactly right. He was pushing you first.
Yes, he was that little shit.
Go
Still
first.
love him though. Let's see. Oh, good question. Danielle says, my dog passed away this past January. Oh, I'm so sorry. Poor puppies. On Earth, he didn't like other dogs or men. He was a rescue dog with a not so good start to life. Would he still keep those traits on the other side, or would he be nice?
No, he would be fine on the other side. He would still have his personality, but he would know, because there is no threat in the white light. So that would affect his being calmer and everything around other pets or men. Yeah.
But if he stayed earthbound, he would kind of have them same
Oh
traits.
no. Earthbound, he would still be the same. Yeah, no. That was that lady that had a shepherd, and this dog absolutely hated anybody in a uniform. FedEx, UPS, mailman. I mean, hated everybody, and it was in a chain link fence. And as soon as he see the mailman or hear the FedEx truck pull up, and for those of you that have dogs that are in fenced in yards, when they bounce against the fence, you could hear them bounce against the fence. And he would start rah, 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 bouncing against the fence. So everybody came to the front door because they were afraid to open the gate, which, yeah, the dog was like drooling. I wouldn't go there either. And so the dog died. And the first time the FedEx man came to the front door after the dog died, uh, she said, "Oh, the dog died. You can use the back door now." He said, "Oh, okay." And he wasn't exactly sad about the dog being dead. And 3 days later, FedEx man is at the front door. And he said, "Lady, I don't think you're funny. I heard that dog coming up the fence." And she just stared at him like he was crazy. Well, the dog had a habit, if his water bowl was empty, he'd walk over to the back steps and put it on the step. One morning she comes out, there's the bowl that holds his water sitting on the step. And she thought, now what in the world? And then he liked to throw rocks or chew on rocks, catch them. So she came out one morning and there were 3 of his rocks on the step. So she called me up, and sure enough, big, beautiful shepherd. He was really oversized. He was a big boy. And I said, "No, he's still there." She goes, "What am I supposed to do?" And she says, "I'm moving. Is he going to come with me?" I said, "I imagine he will." And she said, "Is he still going to go after people?" I said, yeah, because that's what he does. And she says, "Well, what do I have to do? Put up an invisible fence for an invisible dog?" I said, "Wouldn't work anyway." Said no. So went out to her house and I got him to stay. I made the white light and I took one of his rocks and threw it in that direction, and he jumped right into the white light after it. So yeah, they still have the same personality before they go into the light. Yes.
Dogs are fun. And speaking of, my chunky cat's chewing on something he shouldn't, and he's ignoring me snapping at him.
I got one that chews. I've never known cats to chew, but I've got one that chews and one that doesn't.
Let's see. So there have been suggestions about some Google books or free books to download on like Amazon Kindle for fairies, and a lot of people are suggesting the Celtic folklore. Let's see.
What we could do if we think about it. Of course, this is probably something I shouldn't be asking you while we're still on air, but how about if we do pick a fairy day at some point and find somebody that is really, really good with fairies and have them on as a guest?
We could definitely do that. I can hold, I think, up to 9 people on one of these, which we are missing Lewis, by the way. Where is Lewis?
Oh, I can't believe he's not here.
I haven't seen Lewis. Somebody send out the search party. Go find our boy Lewis. I wonder if he's swamped with end of year school. I don't know what time or when school ends in England, but he could be just drowning.
But where's the Hong Kong lady too? She's not here today either.
I know. Where search parties? Send them. Let's see. Oh, they say cats aid us in spirituality. Reptiles are good for grounding. Oh, here's a good question. Does drinking mugwort give you psychic ability? I've had a lot of people wanting to smoke and drink mugwort lately.
Well, they say you can. but I have no idea what kind of trip you're going to go on to if you do either one of those things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've never tried it. I know that's something I wouldn't even attempt to try.
I just know from like doing the way out and stuff, like it's a pretty potent oil or whatever that gets on the fingers and on the hands. And so, and it's not the greatest tasting. So I'm sure smoking it's not going to be that great either, let alone drinking it by itself. I don't think the mugwort by itself will give you the psychic ability. As with anything, it's a tool to be put into a type of practice. You know, taking the time to pay attention to go into a meditative state. You know, just drinking a cup of tea isn't going to suddenly make you psychic. And
But
everybody is going to.
mugwort is more too. Don't forget, more mugwort is more to make you aware of what's going on, which doesn't mean you're psychic. You're just open to. You're open to get dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's what I suggested for.
Oh, so speaking of our brownies, Geezer Gamer says, we've had a house brownie for a number of years. He helps with finances. Your discussion just confirmed it. In addition, the law of abundance has brought us six figures in the last 6 months. So way to go. That's awesome. It's exciting.
Good for you. I love it. I love when I hear how the law of abundance works for people.
Mm-hmm. It's always a good thing. And we need Lewis to let us know if putting the stick figures on his check is starting to work in his dating life. Maybe that's where he's at. Maybe.
Here we go. Sure. Let's talk about him because he's not
here. Oh, so Heather says, I love drinking mugwort. It puts me in a mild trance state. Great for meditation. Okay. Yeah. You know, and it doesn't make you high. So there's that.
No,
and you shouldn't test hot on a drug test either. Oh, somebody else was, you know, where's Lewis? See, here she goes. She goes, where is Lewis? Okay, so what time are we at? Oh, we're a little over 11 already. So I guess to recap for anybody who wants to join Marianne for a Zoom, if you want to know if you have earthbound spirits, a portal, negative energy on you, any of those type of questions for Zoom, this is the link to join us. The next one that is available that has room still is July 9th. That's a Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So feel free to join us. Everybody gets to ask 2 questions. We keep going until everybody who wants to ask questions gets to ask their questions. We do our best to do the new people first. Sometimes we've had people sign on with a different email and it looks like they're new and slightly different. But usually I or Marianne are pretty good at recognizing who's been on before. So you can join us. New people go first, only 30 people. It is not to be shown later for everybody to know your business. Don't feel nervous about asking your questions because everybody there has very similar questions and can understand what you might be going through. So, you know, it's a good time. Everybody's had Lewis. It's kind of like Bueller. Bueller.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, we do that at least twice a month. Sometimes we add more if they're filling up and there's a need and we have time. We will be out on June 26th in Sandusky, Ohio at the Merry-Go-Round Museum. Man's going to give a quick lecture talk explaining the differences, and then we will get to ghost hunt through the building, including downstairs where they do restorations. The Merry-Go-Round Museum is also where the haunted carousel horse from Cedar Point is stored during the off season. So they maintain it, upkeep it, make sure it's in good working safety order before it goes out for the season. So you can join us for that. It's a lot of fun. We have some other ones in the works that we're just finalizing some dates and times. Still in the upper Ohio area. We're going to hopefully start venturing outside of Ohio at some point.
But we will, yeah. For the Carousel Museum, no children at that. And I know you want automatically, oh, I'll bring the kids. Nobody under 18. So just keep that in mind. Plus, for anybody that's 11 o'clock tomorrow night on WGN, which is 7:20 a.m. is Chicago radio station. I will be on that. I'll be on that live from 11 o'clock our time, Eastern Standard Time, probably for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'll be on that. So if you can catch that, catch that.
Let's see. Yeah. So, but Marianne and I were here Wednesdays, 10 a.m. There's only been a handful of times, and it was just not even a full handful of times.
Right.
Yeah. So feel free to join us on Wednesdays, and we're going to have to put together, you and I, the fairy date and the alien date.
An alien date.
There's some more questions popping in between the Facebook channels, the YouTube channels about fairies, and is it good to have a fairy as a spirit guide? Is it troublesome then? And
we should also try to put out there to see if somebody would like to, how many people would be interested in the podcast.
Oh, so there we go. Yeah. And we may have to now and then have special topics that are podcast only. So for those of you who don't know, my store has a podcast called Boxed Wine and Witchcraft. You should be able to find it on any platform. But because it's already, taken care of on a hosting platform, I've pestered Marianne a few times about this now, and I think I finally swung her over onto the yes side about turning some of our Wednesday chats into a podcast to where you can listen to them like a day or so later, and maybe putting up some podcast only episodes. So if anybody are podcast fans, and if you'd be interested in listening to that, let us know in the comments. I'll start the work of, we're going to have to come up with theme music. Maybe Rebecca can help us on that. We're going to have to get a logo designed.
But that's only if there's interest in it.
Right.
We're not going to go through all that if everyone says, nah, I can rewatch it on YouTube. I don't have to do this. So, that might be, here we go. Oh, yes. Okay then. So we will think about getting that together.
Receive. Yep. Here's more. So we'll have to come up with a name.
Don't even own a cell phone. Can you believe this?
Well, that's okay, because again, I would be doing most of the technical work, and we just have to worry about sound on your end, and that could just be getting a microphone for Teg to plug in for you. And here comes more. Yep. Yep. Did I show Rhonda? Yes. So
thanks everybody for your participation. Really appreciate it. And everybody have this Sunday, I think, is Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to our fathers out there, and enjoy your day. And we will definitely do this again next Wednesday.
Same ghost channel, same ghost time. Can we get away with that? Is that copywritten? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And podcast Boxed Wine and Witchcraft is mine. We'll have to come up with a fancy name. Now, it's not going to take the place of YouTube. Don't worry. Somebody was like, keep with YouTube. No. It would be in addition to. So, but yes, join us next Wednesday. Have questions ready for us. Otherwise, we ramble. I ramble to fill in the time.
We both do.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Happy Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to Ted, if he's still in the background there. And we'll see you next week, guys.